Victoria thought walking away from Min-jun would bring clarity. Instead, she got Kang Seo-jun. He'd been perfect. Too perfect. Showing up exactly when she was most vulnerable, saying exactly what she needed to hear, offering exactly the escape she'd been desperate for. Coffee turned into dinners. Dinners turned into late-night conversations. And somewhere between his gentle smiles and promises of a clean, safe future, Victoria had started to believe that maybe choosing him was the right choice. Until tonight. Until she saw the real Kang Seo-jun. "You're hurting me," Victoria whispered, staring at the hand gripping her wrist. The same hand that had held hers so gently across cafe tables. The same hand that had never shown anything but tenderness. Until now. Seo-jun's smile didn't waver. But his eyes, those warm, friendly eyes, had gone ice cold. "Am I?" He tilted his head, studying her like a scientist observing an experiment. "I'm barely holding you, Victoria. If you think this hurts, you really have no idea what Min-jun is capable of." Her heart hammered against her ribs. They were alone in his penthouse. She'd come here thinking they were having dinner. Thinking he wanted to discuss their future. She'd been so stupid. "Let me go." In a minute. Seo-jun released her wrist, but moved to block the door. "First, I need you to understand something. Everything that's happened between us, every word, every gesture, every moment, it was calculated, Victoria. All of it." The floor seemed to tilt beneath her feet. "What? Did you really think I sent you those flowers because I liked you?" His laugh was cruel. Nothing like the warm, gentle sound she'd grown used to. "You were a means to an end. A beautiful, naive means to destroy Kwon Min-jun." Victoria's breath caught in her throat. "You're lying." "Am I? Think about it." Seo-jun circled her slowly, like a predator. "I timed those flowers perfectly. Right when you'd be most visible. Right when Min-jun would see them and lose his carefully constructed control. I knew exactly what would happen." "Why?" Her voice cracked. "Why would you do this?" "Because Min-jun took something from me 3 years ago." Seo-jun's mask finally cracked, revealing the hatred underneath. "My brother. Park Jin-woo." The name hit her like a physical blow. Jin-woo wasn't laundering money for human traffickers, Seo-jun continued, his voice sharp with barely controlled rage. That was the story Min-jun spread to justify murder. My brother was an accountant who discovered Min-jun's illegal operations. He was going to testify. So your precious Mafia boss had him killed and made it look like an accident. Victoria's mind spun. "That's not," Min-jun said. "Min-jun lied." Seo-jun stepped closer. "And you believed him, because you're in love with a monster. But that's fine. I've been counting on it." "Counting on what?" His smile returned. Cold. Victorious. "Counting on you being stupid enough to choose him over me. Counting on you running back to him eventually. Because when you do, Victoria, you'll be exactly where I need you." Terror crawled up her spine. "What are you talking about? You think I just wanted to break you two apart? Please." That was phase 1. Seo-jun pulled out his phone, showed her the screen. "Phase 2 is using you to destroy everything Min-jun has built. His businesses, his reputation, his empire. And phase 3. The photo on his screen made her blood run cold. It was her and Min-jun from 2 weeks ago, leaving a restaurant. Someone had been following them, photographing them. Phase 3 is making sure everyone knows Seoul's most dangerous crime lord has one weakness. A beautiful African woman he'd burn the world for. And once his enemies know that." Seo-jun's eyes glittered with malice. "They'll come for you. And watching him suffer as he loses you, not to another man, but to a bullet meant for him, will be the sweetest revenge I could ask for." Victoria's legs nearly gave out. "You're insane. I'm patient." He opened the door, his demeanor shifting back to pleasant, friendly, the mask sliding perfectly into place. "Now you can leave. Run to Min-jun if you want. Tell him everything I said. It won't matter. The wheels are already in motion. My brother's real testimony. I've leaked it to every news outlet in Seoul. By morning, Min-jun's true nature will be front-page news. His legitimate businesses will crumble. His associates will scatter. And his enemies." Seo-jun's smile widened. "They'll smell blood in the water." Victoria ran. She ran from his penthouse, from his building, into the Seoul night with her heart threatening to explode from her chest. She had to warn Minjun, had to tell him that everything had been a trap. Her phone shook in her hands as she dialed his number. It rang once, twice. Victoria. His voice was flat, cold, the voice of a man who'd already said goodbye. Why are you calling? Minjun, please listen to me. I told you we're done. Seo-jun isn't who you think he is. The words tumbled out desperately. He's Park Jin-woo's brother. He's been planning this from the beginning. The flowers, the manipulation, everything. He's going to... The line went dead. Victoria stared at her phone in disbelief. He'd hung up on her. Welcome to Afro-Korean Love Stories. If you loved part 1, you need to hit that subscribe button right now because part 2 is where everything explodes. Drop a comment telling me if you saw Seo-jun's betrayal coming and which city you're watching from. Now, let's dive into the chaos. Minjun stared at his phone screen after ending Victoria's call. His hand didn't shake. His expression didn't change. 3 years of building walls had taught him how to bury emotion so deep even he couldn't find it. But his driver saw the way his jaw clenched, the way his knuckles went white around the phone. Sir? The driver asked cautiously. Are you all right? Drive to my office. It's 2 in the morning. Now. The car pulled into Seoul traffic. Minjun stared out the window, Victoria's frantic words echoing in his head. Seo-jun isn't who you think he is. He's Park Jin-woo's brother. Impossible. Park Jin-woo had no family. Minjun had checked. Before eliminating any threat, he always checked. Unless he'd missed something. Unless someone had been hiding in plain sight for 3 years, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. His phone rang again. Victoria. He sent it to voicemail. It rang immediately after. Again. And again. On the 5th call, he answered. Stop calling me. Minjun, please. Victoria's voice was raw with tears. I know you don't want to hear from me. I know I broke your heart. But you're in danger. Real danger. Seo-jun has leaked information to the press. By morning, everything about Park Jin-woo's murder will be public. Your legitimate businesses, your cover, everything will. I know. Silence. What? Victoria's voice was barely a whisper. I know about the leak. My media contacts informed me 20 minutes ago. Minjun's voice was eerily calm. I'm already handling it. But how are you so calm? This will destroy you. Because I've been preparing for this possibility since the day I killed Park Jin-woo. He leaned back in his seat. Did you really think I'd eliminate someone without considering the consequences? Without having contingency plans? Then why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you warn me about Seo-jun? Because I didn't know Kang Seo-jun was Park Jin-woo's half-brother until 15 minutes ago. Minjun's research team was thorough. But Seo-jun had been more thorough. Different mothers. Different last names. He buried the connection well. Victoria's breath hitched. So it's true. Everything he said about Jin-woo being innocent was a lie. Minjun's voice hardened. Park Jin-woo was exactly what I said he was. A monster who sold children to the highest bidder. His testimony would have put me in prison, yes. But it also would have protected his trafficking network. That's what Seo-jun doesn't want anyone to know. How do you know that? Because I have Jin-woo's real ledgers. The ones the prosecutors never saw. The ones that prove exactly what kind of man his brother really was. Minjun's voice was ice. Seo-jun isn't seeking justice, Victoria. He's seeking revenge because I killed the only family he had, even if that family was a monster. The line went quiet except for Victoria's shaky breathing. Where are you right now? Minjun asked. On the street. Outside Seo-jun's building. Every muscle in his body tensed. Get in a cab. Go home. Lock your doors. Minjun. Do it now, Victoria. His control cracked slightly. If Seo-jun wanted you dead, you'd already be dead. But he wants you alive for maximum damage, which means you're bait. And I need you somewhere safe while I handle this. Handle this how? The way I handle all threats. His voice went cold again. Permanently. No. Victoria's shout was desperate. No. You can't kill him. That's exactly what he wants. He's probably already prepared for that. He said his enemies would come for me if. Then what do you suggest? Minjun's voice was sharp. That I let him destroy everything I've built? Let him put a target on your back and do nothing? I suggest we outthink him instead of outgun him. Despite everything, Minjun almost smiled. I'm the reason you're in this mess, Victoria said quietly. I chose to trust him. I chose to push you away. Let me help fix this. By doing what? By giving him what he wants. Minjun's eyes narrowed. Explain. He wants to see you suffer. Wants to watch you lose everything, including me. So, let's give him a show. Victoria's voice grew stronger. Let's make him think he's won. And when he gets comfortable, when he thinks he's destroyed you completely, we destroy him instead. Exactly. Minjun was quiet for a long moment. The strategist in him recognized a good plan. The man in him hated every second of it. This would require us working together, he said carefully. Pretending we're still broken up while secretly coordinating every move. Yes. It would mean watching you seemingly choose Seojun. Watching him touch you, smile at you, believe he's won you. Victoria's voice trembled. I know. I don't know if I can do that. The confession came out raw. Honest. Watching you with him the first time nearly killed me, Victoria. Doing it intentionally, knowing it's an act. Then don't watch, she interrupted. Trust me instead. Trust that every smile I give him is a lie. Every moment I spend with him is strategy. Trust that the only man I want is you. His heart clenched. You broke up with me. I was scared. And now I'm more scared of losing you to Seojun's revenge than I am of loving a complicated man. Her voice broke. I love you, Minjun. I never stopped. And if you'll let me, I'll prove it by helping you take down the man who tried to destroy us. Minjun closed his eyes. This was insane. Dangerous. Could backfire in 1,000 ways. But it was also their best shot. Okay, he said finally. But we do this my way. My rules. And if at any point I think you're in real danger, you pull me out. I know. Victoria exhaled shakily. So, what's the plan? First, you go home. Tomorrow morning, news breaks about Park Jin-woo's murder. My legitimate businesses take a hit. I look vulnerable. Weak. And I go running to Seojun for comfort. Yes. The word tasted like poison. You tell him I wouldn't listen to your warnings. That I hung up on you. That you're done with me for good this time. He'll believe it. He thinks I'm naive. Use that. Minjun's voice hardened. Let him underestimate you. Let him think he's won. What will you be doing? Preparing for war. The news broke at 6 a.m. Seoul's hidden mafia king, Kwon Minjun, linked to murder cover-up. Victoria watched it spread across every news channel from her apartment, her stomach churning. Photos of Minjun, diagrams of his business empire, interviews with anonymous sources claiming they'd always suspected his legitimate ventures were fronts. And at the center of it all, Park Jin-woo's death, painted as a cold-blooded execution of an innocent whistleblower. Her phone buzzed. It was Seojun. I'm sure you've seen the news. Are you okay? She stared at the message, at the fake concern from a man who'd orchestrated everything. She replied, I tried to warn him. He wouldn't listen. Seojun responded, I'm sorry. I know you cared about him. Do you want company? Victoria replied, yes. Please. She hated how easy the lie came, how quickly she was learning to play this game. Seojun arrived 30 minutes later with coffee and pastries, his expression perfectly crafted with concern. How are you holding up? He asked, settling onto her couch. I don't know. Victoria let real tears fall. They weren't hard to summon. Everything's falling apart. Minjun won't talk to me. The news is saying terrible things. And I keep thinking, what if I was wrong about him? What if you were right all along? Seojun's eyes gleamed with satisfaction, though his voice remained gentle. You weren't wrong to care about him, but you're seeing him clearly now. That's what matters. I feel so stupid. You're not stupid. You're kind. You wanted to see the best in him. Seojun took her hand. That's not a weakness, Victoria. That's what makes you special. She wanted to vomit. Instead, she squeezed his hand back. What happens now? She asked. To Min Jun, I mean. The authorities will investigate. His businesses will be scrutinized. He'll lose everything he's built on lies. Seo Jun's voice held barely concealed triumph. Justice, finally. And us. The question hung in the air. Seo Jun's smile widened. I'd like there to be an US. If you're ready. He moved closer. I know the timing isn't ideal, but I've been waiting for you to see what I've seen all along. Min Jun was never worthy of you. Victoria forced herself not to flinch as he tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. I need time, she whispered. Everything's moving so fast. Of course. Take all the time you need. Seo Jun stood. But know that I'm here. Whenever you're ready. After he left, Victoria ran to her bathroom and threw up. Then she called Min Jun. How did I do? She asked when he answered. Too well. His voice was tight. I'm watching the security footage from your apartment. Watching him touch you. Min Jun. I know it's necessary. Doesn't make it easier. He exhaled slowly. Did he suspect anything?
No.
He thinks he's winning. Good. Keep it that way. Background noise suggested he was moving. I'm meeting with my lawyers in an hour. Preparing statements. Playing the part of a businessman wrongfully accused. Will it work? Eventually. I have evidence that clears me. But I need to let Seo Jun think he's succeeded first. Let him get comfortable. Victoria wrapped her arms around herself. How long do we have to do this? As long as it takes to find what we need. Which is proof of Seo Jun's real agenda. He's not just trying to destroy me for revenge. There's something bigger. Min Jun's voice hardened. My people are digging into his finances, his business deals, his connections. When we find it, we end this. Yes. Silence stretched between them, heavy with everything unsaid. I miss you, Victoria whispered. Min Jun's breathing changed. Victoria. I know we can't. I know it's too dangerous. But I needed you to know. I miss you too. The confession was quiet.
Raw.
Every second of every day. Especially now, when I can't be there to protect you. I don't need protection. I need you to trust me. I do trust you. It's him I don't trust. Then trust that I'm smart enough to handle him. A pause. Then, be careful. Seo Jun is dangerous when cornered. And right now, he thinks he's winning. But the moment he suspects you're playing him. I know. Victoria's voice was steady despite her fear. I'll be careful. Call me every night, even if it's just for a minute. I need to know you're safe. I will. And, Victoria? His voice dropped. When this is over, I'm never letting you go again. Do you understand? Her heart clenched. Yes. Good. The line went dead. Victoria stared at her reflection in the window. 3 weeks ago, she'd been a secretary trying to navigate her feelings for her boss. Now she was a spy, playing a dangerous game with a man who wanted to destroy everything she loved. She'd never been more terrified. Or more determined. Her phone buzzed again. A text from Seo Jun. Dinner tomorrow night? I want to show you my world. The legitimate one. The safe one. Victoria's fingers hovered over the keyboard. Victoria replied, I'd like that. She sent the message and immediately texted Min Jun the screenshot. Min Jun responded, I'll have people watching. If anything happens. Victoria replied, nothing will happen. I've got this. Min Jun responded, that's what I'm afraid of. Victoria replied, what do you mean? Min Jun responded, that you're getting too good at this. Too comfortable lying. I don't want this world to change you. Victoria stared at the message. At the concern beneath the words. Victoria replied, too late. It already has. But I'm doing this for us. Remember that. She didn't wait for his response. Couldn't bear to see what he might say. Instead, she opened her laptop and started researching everything she could find about Kang Seo Jun. His businesses. His background. His connections. If Min Jun's people were looking for evidence, she would too. Because she wasn't just playing the role of bait anymore. She was hunting. The next evening, Seo Jun picked her up in a car that cost more than her yearly salary. You look beautiful, he said, eyes traveling over her red dress. Thank you. Victoria smiled, ignoring how his gaze made her skin crawl. He took her to an exclusive restaurant, introduced her to influential people, showed her his world of wealth and legitimacy. And through it all, Victoria played her part perfectly, laughed at his jokes, touched his arm, let him pull out her chair and order her wine. She was a woman being courted by Seoul's most eligible bachelor. No one would guess she was counting down the minutes until she could escape. "You seem distracted," Seo Jun observed over dessert. Victoria's heart skipped.
Sorry.
"Just thinking." "About Minjun?" She nodded slowly. "I saw his statement today. He's denying everything." "Of course he is. Men like him never take responsibility. Part of me wants to believe him." Seo Jun's expression darkened. "Victoria, I know he's guilty. But 3 years of working for him, caring about him." She let her voice break. "It's hard to just turn it off." Seo Jun relaxed slightly. "That's normal. You're grieving what you thought he was. How do you move past it?"
Time.
"And maybe." He reached across the table, took her hand. New reasons to look forward instead of back. Victoria met his eyes. Saw the calculation there. The manipulation. "Maybe," she whispered. 2 weeks into the charade, Victoria was exhausted. Exhausted from smiling at Seo Jun. Exhausted from pretending Minjun meant nothing. Exhausted from the constant fear that one wrong word, one wrong look, would expose everything. But they were getting closer. She could feel it. Minjun's investigators had found irregularities in Seo Jun's company finances. Large transfers to offshore accounts. Payments to individuals with criminal records. Nothing concrete yet, but the pattern was emerging. Seo Jun wasn't the clean businessman he pretended to be. "You're thinking too much again," Seo Jun said, pulling her from her thoughts. They were at his penthouse. He'd invited her for dinner, but the atmosphere felt different tonight. Heavier. More intimate. Dangerous.
Sorry.
Long day. Victoria set down her wine glass. "I've been patient, you know." Seo Jun moved closer on the couch. "Giving you space to heal. Time to forget him. But I'm starting to wonder if you ever will." Her pulse quickened. "What do you mean?" "I mean you still flinch when I touch you. Still look at your phone like you're expecting his call. Still wear that sad expression when you think I'm not watching." His eyes narrowed. "Tell me, Victoria, are you really over Kwon Minjun? Or are you just pretending?" Every instinct screamed danger. "I'm trying," she said carefully. "But you can't expect 3 years of feelings to disappear in 2 weeks."
No.
"I suppose not." Seo Jun studied her face. "But I can expect honesty. So I'll ask you directly. Have you been in contact with Minjun since the news broke?" Victoria's blood went cold.
No.
"You're sure?" "He won't take my calls." "I told you that."
Right.
"You did." Seo Jun pulled out his phone, tapped the screen. "Then explain this." He showed her a photo, taken 3 nights ago. Victoria leaving her apartment at 11 p.m. The timestamp matched exactly when she'd gone to meet Minjun's contact to pass along information she'd gathered. She'd been so careful, so sure no one was following. "I went for a walk," Victoria said, keeping her voice steady. "I couldn't sleep. At 11 at night? In that neighborhood? I needed air. Or you needed to meet someone." Seo Jun's friendly mask cracked further. "I've had people watching you, Victoria. I know about your late-night walks. Your sudden errands. Your too long coffee runs." Her mind raced. How much did he actually know? How much was he guessing? "I don't appreciate being followed," she said, letting anger seep into her voice. Real anger. "If you don't trust me, why are you even pursuing this?" "Because I need to know whose side you're on." "I'm on my own side." Victoria stood, letting her frustration show. "I'm trying to move on from a man who broke my heart. I'm trying to build something with you. But you're stalking me? Having me followed? What kind of relationship is that?" The outburst seemed to catch him off guard.
Good.
Let him think she was just an emotional woman reacting to betrayal. "You're right." Seo Jun's expression softened slightly. "I apologize. I've been paranoid. Minjun's people have been digging into my business. I thought maybe he was using you." "Using me for what?" "I don't know anything about your business."
No.
"Of course not." He stood, moved toward her. "Forgive me. I let my suspicions override my judgment. Victoria let him pull her into an embrace, fighting every instinct to push him away. I just need to know I can trust you, he murmured against her hair. You can. Then prove it. She pulled back to look at him.
How?
Tell me something. Anything. That proves Minjun means nothing to you anymore. Victoria's mind spun. What could she say that would convince him without giving away too much? He called me, she said quietly. Last week. Left a voicemail. Seo Jun's entire body tensed. What did he say? That he was sorry. That he wished things had ended differently. She let her voice break convincingly. That he still loved me. And I deleted it without responding. Victoria met Seo Jun's eyes. Because loving him almost destroyed me. And I'm not going back to that. Not for anything. The lie tasted bitter. But Seo Jun's expression shifted. Satisfaction replacing suspicion.
Good, he said.
That's good.
He kissed her then. Not gently. Claiming.
Possessive. Victoria kissed him back, ball rising in her throat, thinking of Minjun watching through whatever cameras his people had planted. Knowing this would kill him, but it had to be convincing. When Seo Jun finally pulled back, his eyes were dark with something that made her skin crawl. Stay tonight, he said. Not a question. A test. I can't. I have work early. Call in sick. Her heart hammered. Seo Jun. Please. He softened his approach. I need to know you're committed to this.
To us.
One night. That's all I'm asking. Every alarm bell in her head was screaming. This was moving too fast. Getting too dangerous. But saying no would raise more suspicion. Okay, she whispered. One night. Seo Jun smiled. I'll get you something comfortable to wear. The moment he left the room, Victoria pulled out her phone.
Typed quickly.
She sent a text to Minjun emergency. He wants me to stay the night. What do I do? The response came immediately. Minjun responded. Get out.
Now.
I don't care about the plan. Get out. Victoria replied. I can't. He's already suspicious. If I run now. Minjun responded. I'm coming to get you. Victoria replied. No. That's exactly what he wants. Trust me.
Please.
Minjun responded. I'm 2 minutes from storming that building and ending this. Victoria replied. Minjun, please. I need you to trust me like I trusted you. A long pause. Minjun responded. I have people in the building. 5 floors down. If anything happens, scream. They'll come. Victoria replied. Okay. Minjun responded. And Victoria? If he touches you. Victoria replied. He won't. I promise. She deleted the messages just as Seo Jun returned with silk pajamas. The guest room is ready, he said. Relief flooded through her. Guest room. Not his room. Thank you. But as she changed and settled into the unfamiliar bed, Victoria couldn't shake the feeling that something was very wrong. Seo Jun had given in too easily. Had accepted her explanations too quickly. Either he believed her, or he was setting a trap. At 2 a.m, her door opened. Victoria's eyes flew open to see Seo Jun's silhouette in the doorway. Can't sleep either? He asked quietly. Just restless. He moved into the room, sat on the edge of her bed. I've been thinking about us. About timing. About whether we're moving too fast. Are we? Maybe. But then I think about how short life is. How quickly things can change. How Minjun had 3 years with you and wasted them with his violence and lies. Seo Jun's hand found hers in the darkness. I don't want to waste a single moment. Victoria's pulse raced. What are you saying? I'm saying I'm falling in love with you, Victoria. Despite the complicated circumstances. Despite knowing you still have feelings for him. Despite everything. The confession should have been romantic. Instead, it felt like a noose tightening. Seo Jun. You don't have to say it back. Not yet. He squeezed her hand. But I needed you to know. Because what I'm about to do requires you to understand my feelings are real. What are you about to do? His smile was visible even in the darkness. Finish what I started. Tomorrow new evidence will surface. Evidence that ties Minjun not just to Park Jin-woo's murder, but to a dozen others. Evidence that will put him in prison for life. Victoria's blood turned to ice. What evidence? Fabricated, of course, but thorough, convincing. By the time his lawyers figure out it's fake, the damage will be done. His empire will crumble. His freedom will be gone. Seo Jun's voice held dark satisfaction. And you, beautiful Victoria, will finally be free of him. Free to choose me without guilt, without wondering what might have been. She couldn't breathe,
Couldn't think. When she managed.
The press conference is scheduled for 9 a.m. By noon, warrants will be issued for his arrest. 7 hours. They had 7 hours. Why are you telling me this? Victoria asked. Because I want you there, by my side. When Minjun's world ends, I want him to see that you chose me. That despite everything he was, everything he offered, you still walked away. Seo Jun leaned down, kissed her forehead. Get some rest. Tomorrow changes everything. He left. Victoria waited exactly 30 seconds before grabbing her phone. Sending a text to Min Jun. He's releasing fabricated evidence at 9 a.m. Murder charges. Arrest warrants by noon. Min Jun responded, I'm getting you out.
Now.
Victoria replied, no. We use this. We planned for this. Min Jun responded, not like this. Not with you in his house. Victoria replied, do you trust me or not? The longest pause of her life. Min Jun responded, I trust you. But if anything goes wrong, Victoria replied, it won't. I love you. Min Jun responded, I love you too. More than anything. Please be careful. Victoria deleted the messages, her mind racing. Tomorrow, everything would come to a head. Tomorrow, they'd find out if their plan would save them. Or destroy them both. Victoria didn't sleep. She spent the night planning, thinking, preparing for the performance of her life. At 7 a.m., she emerged from the guest room, dressed and composed. Seo Jun was already in his kitchen, perfectly tailored suit, sipping coffee like this was any other morning.
Good morning, he said warmly.
Coffee, please. He poured her a cup, his movements relaxed. Confident. He had no idea what was coming. Are you ready for today?
Seo Jun asked. Victoria met his eyes.
Actually, I need to tell you something first. His expression shifted slightly. Cautious. Oh, I lied to you. She set down her coffee. About Min Jun. About being over him. About everything. Seo Jun went very still. What are you saying? I'm saying I've been playing you from the moment you told me your real plan. Victoria's voice was steady despite her racing heart. That night you revealed yourself? I went straight to Min Jun, told him everything. And we've been working together ever since. The friendly mask shattered completely. You're bluffing, Seo Jun said coldly. Am I?
Check your offshore accounts.
The ones you've been using to pay people to fabricate evidence against Min Jun. Victoria pulled out her phone, showed him screenshots. Min Jun's people have been tracking every transfer, every payment, every dirty dollar. Seo Jun's face went pale. And that evidence you're planning to release at 9? Victoria continued. Min Jun's lawyers have already filed injunctions. They have proof it's fabricated. Proof you hired the witnesses. Proof of everything. That's impossible. I was careful. Not careful enough. Victoria's voice hardened. You underestimated me. Thought I was just some naive secretary caught in the middle. But I've spent 3 years learning from the smartest, most strategic man I've ever met. Did you really think I wouldn't see through you? Seo Jun's hand shot out, gripping her wrist.
Hard.
You little. The door burst open. Min Jun walked in with 4 of his men, his expression absolutely lethal.
Let
her go. Seo Jun released Victoria immediately, but his shock quickly turned to rage. This is breaking and entering. This is justice. Min Jun moved to Victoria's side, his hand gentle on her back. Protective. You tried to destroy me using fabricated evidence. Tried to manipulate the woman I love. Tried to frame me for crimes I didn't commit. You killed my brother. I killed a monster. Min Jun's voice was thunder. And I have proof, real proof, of exactly what Park Jin-woo was involved in. Names.
dates.
Transactions. Everything. He threw a folder on the table. Photographs spilled out. Documents. Evidence of horrors that made Victoria's stomach turn. Seo-jun stared at them, his face draining of color. No, he whispered. Jin-woo wasn't, he wouldn't.
He was.
And he did. Min-jun's voice was hard, but not without sympathy. I understand wanting to avenge family, but you chose the wrong brother to defend. You're lying. You fabricated this. DNA evidence doesn't lie. Neither do the victims who've come forward since your brother's death. Victims who were too terrified to speak while he was alive. Min-jun stepped closer. I may be a criminal, Seo-jun, but I have lines I don't cross. Your brother crossed all of them. Seo-jun collapsed into a chair, staring at the evidence with shaking hands. I spent 3 years planning this, he said hollowly. 3 years building my empire, positioning myself, waiting for the perfect moment. And it was all for a lie, Victoria said quietly. I'm sorry. I know what it's like to lose family, but destroying innocent people won't bring him back. Innocent. Seo-jun's laugh was broken. Min-jun just admitted he's a criminal. I am, Min-jun agreed. But I'm a criminal with standards. And right now you have a choice. Walk away. Dismantle your revenge plot. Leave Seoul. Or I release this evidence publicly, and the world learns what kind of monster you were protecting. That's blackmail. That's mercy. Min-jun's eyes were cold. More than you showed Victoria. More than you planned to show me. Seo-jun looked between them. At Victoria's hand in Min-jun's. At the united front they presented. You two deserve each other, he said bitterly. A criminal and the woman stupid enough to love him. You're right, Victoria said. I am stupid enough to love him. Stupid enough to choose danger over safety. Chaos over calm. A complicated, violent, beautiful man over someone clean and simple and fake. She squeezed Min-jun's hand. And I'd make that choice again. Every single time. Min-jun's expression softened. Just for her. Then he turned back to Seo-jun. You have 24 hours to leave Seoul. If I see you again, if you contact Victoria again, if you make any move against either of us, his voice dropped to something deadly. I will forget about Mercy. And you'll discover exactly why people fear my name. Seo-jun stood slowly. Defeated. Broken. This isn't over, he said, but the threat was hollow. Yes, Min-jun said quietly. It is. They left him there, surrounded by the evidence of his brother's crimes and his own failed revenge. Outside, in Min-jun's car, Victoria finally let herself break. I was so scared, she whispered against his chest. So terrified I'd mess up. Say the wrong thing. That he'd hurt you.
Sure.
You were perfect.
So brave.
So smart. Min-jun held her tight, his voice rough with emotion. I've never been more proud. Or more terrified. When you stayed in that house. I know. But it worked. It's over. Is it? He pulled back to look at her. The news. My reputation. Your association with me. This doesn't change any of that, Victoria. My world is still dangerous. Still complicated. Still. She kissed him, deep and desperate, and full of everything she'd been holding back for weeks. I don't care, she said against his lips. I don't care about danger or complications, or what people think. I care about you. Only you. Even knowing what I am, what I've done. Especially knowing. Victoria cupped his face. You're not perfect, Min-jun. You're violent and possessive and you've done terrible things. But you're also loyal and protective and you love me like I'm the only thing that matters in your world. You are the only thing that matters. Then stop trying to push me away for my own good. Let me choose you. Let me love you. Let me be part of your complicated, dangerous, beautiful life. Min-jun's control finally shattered. He kissed her like a drowning man finding air. Like she was salvation and sin wrapped together. Mine, he whispered. Say it.
Yours.
Always yours. No more running? No more running. He smiled against her lips.
Good.
Because I have plans for us. What kind of plans? His phone rang before he could answer. Min-jun glanced at it, his expression shifting. It's my lawyer. The injunctions worked. Seo-jun's evidence has been blocked. The press conference is cancelled. And he paused, reading further. Seo Jun just wired money to the victims' families. Substantial amounts. And he's issued a public statement stepping down from his company, citing personal reasons. Victoria's eyes widened. He's really leaving. He's running. But he's also trying to make amends. In his own way. Minjun's expression was unreadable. Maybe there's hope for him yet. Do you believe that?
No.
But you do. And that's enough for me. 6 months later, Victoria stood in Minjun's penthouse, looking out at the Seoul skyline.
So much had changed. So much had stayed the same.
Minjun's legitimate businesses had survived the scandal.
Barely.
But with Seo Jun's evidence discredited and the truth about Park Jin-woo revealed, the damage had been contained. Minjun was still who he was. Still dangerous. Still operating in shadows. But he was also trying, slowly, carefully, to be the man Victoria believed he could be. You're thinking too loud, Minjun said, wrapping his arms around her from behind. Just reflecting. On how 6 months ago, I was ready to walk away from you forever. And now, she turned in his arms. Now I can't imagine my life without you. Good. Because I have something to ask you. Minjun reached into his pocket, pulled out a small box. Victoria's breath caught. I know this is fast. I know my world is complicated. I know there will be people who judge you for choosing me. He opened the box, revealing a simple but stunning diamond ring. But I also know that you're the best thing that's ever happened to me. The only person who's ever made me want to be better. And I don't want to waste another day not being yours completely. Tears streamed down Victoria's face. Victoria, will you marry me? Will you choose this dangerous, complicated, beautiful life with me? Forever. She didn't hesitate.
Yes.
Yes, 1,000 times yes. Minjun slid the ring onto her finger, then kissed her with everything he had. All the love, all the devotion, all the promise of their future together. When they broke apart, both were smiling through tears. I love you, Victoria whispered. I love you too, my brave, beautiful, perfect woman. Minjun pulled her close. Thank you for seeing past the monster. Thank you for choosing me when you could have chosen safety. Thank you for loving me when I didn't think I deserved to be loved. You deserve everything, Victoria said fiercely. And I'm going to spend the rest of my life proving it to you. They stood there, wrapped in each other, as the sun set over Seoul. Their story hadn't been easy. It had been filled with jealousy, betrayal, danger, and heartbreak. But it had also been filled with passion, loyalty, growth, and a love that refused to break. Victoria had left home searching for escape. Instead, she'd found purpose. Minjun had built his empire on control. Instead, he'd learned surrender. Together, they discovered that love wasn't about perfection. It was about choice. About showing up every day and choosing each other, despite the complications, despite the danger, despite everything that said they shouldn't work. Ready for our complicated, dangerous, beautiful future? Minjun asked. Victoria smiled. With you? Always. And as they kissed again, the Seoul skyline glittering behind them, one truth was certain. Some love stories are safe. Some are simple. Some make perfect sense. Theirs was none of those things. And that made it absolutely perfect. If you made it to the end of this emotional roller coaster, drop a comment telling me your favorite moment from Victoria and Minjun's story. Was it the jealous confession? The undercover operation? The proposal? I want to hear everything. And if you're not subscribed yet, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications because we have so many more Afro-Korean romance stories coming your way. Stories of forbidden love, power dynamics, and couples who choose each other against all odds. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Thank you for believing in Victoria and Minjun's love. And thank you for being part of the Afro-Korean Love Stories family. Like this video if you loved it, share it with someone who needs a good cry, and I'll see you in the next story. Until then, keep believing in love that breaks all the rules.